Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the transit of Mars because Mars can be such a trigger for important events. And Mars is about to enter Capricorn on March 22nd. Capricorn is its sign of exaltation. This means that this planet becomes in full force, empowered concerning every aspect of what this planet rules while it's transiting in the sign of Capricorn. Now, it will be in the sign of Capricorn between March 22nd and May 4th. Now, remember, I am talking about the sidereal Vedic astrology placements, not the Western tropical. So sidereal placements, which are the true placements of where the planets are relative to the stars. This will fall backwards a sign, but at this time, you're going to find how real these experiences are because the minute Mars enters the sign, it becomes empowered. So this can be for power and good, and many times what I say is when a planet is exalted, it simply makes that planet stronger. Not necessarily better, but stronger for what that planet is all about. So what does Mars rule? Mars rules power, energy. It is the planet of violence, anger, rules war. So this is a planet that is all about action. It's about sports. It actually rules the blood and the muscles of the body. And in terms of ruling the blood, therefore, it rules our life force, giving us life, gives us energy. And blood, which gives us our energy and life, it's red, it's fiery. So Mars can rule weapons, fire, explosions, bombs, knives, anything that is used to actually protect. But this planet, it does tend to bring up emotion. Because in Vedic astrology, we look at Mars not only ruling Aries, which Aries is the sign of action, beginnings, pioneers, it also rules Scorpio. Because we use the old rulerships. So Mars rules Scorpio, not Pluto. But if you consider Scorpio is that inner energy and inner emotion that's deep, profound, provocative. And Mars can deal with what? Passion. So put Mars in its sign of exaltation, you're going to find people are extremely passionate and strong, strong-willed, courageous. People are going to be gung-ho, what they believe in. It's an incredible time, but realize it brings up the angers that are associated with Mars and violence and attacks and war. So all of these things are going to be activated much more powerfully while Mars is in the sign of Capricorn. So let's talk a little bit about the sign of Capricorn. What is that going to bring while Mars transits for 6 weeks in this sign between March 22nd through May 4th? And let me remind everyone, Mars will go through all 12 signs of the zodiac every 2 years. It goes through all 12 signs. So it stays in a sign particularly about 6 weeks. But let me say that Capricorn is so much relative to what's going on right now in the world because Capricorn is the sign of what? Politics. It rules government. It rules everything of what Saturn's about. And what is it about? Saturn's about discipline, focus, organization, structure. You put Mars in the sign, and this is a time of reorganizing, restructuring, bringing things together. working hard. That's all the qualities of Capricorn relative to the sign of Saturn. But guess what? While Mars is here in Capricorn, it's going to conjunct Saturn. And when that comes together, that is a powerful force to be reckoned with. So on March 31st, Mars is going to conjunct Saturn at 6 degrees of Capricorn. You better make sure and see if you have any planets at 6 degrees of Capricorn, because it's going to be a direct trigger on that day, March 31st. So whenever I think about Saturn and Mars coming together, I often think about the power that these two planets put together have. Now Saturn is all about pulling back, going slow, stopping things, where Mars wants to go 100 miles an hour. You put them together. Well, when I first started learning astrology, we were told that you put Mars and Saturn together, it's like driving down the street with one foot on the accelerator and one on the brake. Where does that get you? Nowhere, because it causes delays and setbacks. That's what will happen on this day. But for those that have this conjunction in their chart, it means they've had plenty of setbacks and delays. They've been knocked down another number of times. But guess what? It gives tenacity, diligence, and perseverance. And anyone with this conjunction will always persevere, because this means that because they always get back up, even though they've been knocked down a number of times, it leads to success. One person's chart that I know has Mars and Saturn conjunct is Jeff Bezos. So you can see the tenacity, the willpower, the striving to never ever give up creates success. So this is what is being activated during this time of March 31st, while these two planets come together in these most powerful signs. And actually, thinking about Jeff Bezos' chart, he does have Mars and Saturn in Capricorn. So you can see that this is all about building to a success. And this is what this time period will bring about, but not without hardships or a reason to have to try as hard as you possibly can, because that's what it's going to be about. This is a tough and powerful and eventful time frame, especially around the end of March, when Mars and Saturn conjoin in Capricorn. Bringing that together, Saturn's all about diligence, perseverance, discipline, and together with Mars energy, it's going to be explosive. And this is a powerful time of explosive events that will eventually lead to success. Another aspect that just happened prior to this was around March 20th, Mars conjuncts Jupiter, but still in the sign of Sagittarius. And this brings things open. You know, people look at Jupiter as the great benefic, but I must say, sometimes it makes things bigger, even things that we don't want to be bigger. So I think all that's happening, that's breeding hostility, anger, and righteousness is coming about with Mars coming together with Jupiter. And then it's going to cross over Saturn. But there is another big conjunction that will happen prior to Mars going into Capricorn. And that is going to be Mars conjoining Pluto. You see, Jupiter and Pluto are coming together, and Mars will trigger them around March 23rd. So much is happening, and so many aspects and astrological events that are creating this world of chaos and being out of control. You can see what this coronavirus has done to the world. And many things are still due to happen, but I do believe that once Mars goes into Capricorn, there will be this trend towards rebuilding things, even though It's not going to be easy. Now, let me just say, all of the nakshatras that Mars is about to transit through, there will be a change of attitudes and energy during the 6-week period that Mars transits through Capricorn, such as when Mars first enters into Capricorn, it's going to be in the nakshatra Uttara Ashada. And Uttara Ashada is the nakshatra that is partially in Sagittarius and in Capricorn. This nakshatra extends from 26 degrees of Sagittarius to 10 degrees of Capricorn. And within this, remember that Uttara Ashada, this nakshatra, is ruled by the sun. And it actually, its saying is ladder victory, or ladder undefeated, ladder victory. So this actually pertains a lot to fighting and wars in ancient times. But it means that things will come to the surface and there will be a healing and we will succeed. Now this nakshatra actually will be about many things, but what I find most importantly, it is about truthfulness. And it is, especially when it's in the sign of Sagittarius, it can deal with righteousness, truthfulness, and very judgmental quality. But when it comes into Capricorn, it has much more of a quality of being realistic, making things work, being down to earth. And remember, the sign Capricorn is all about success, work, materialism. And that's what needs to be rebuilt. All the things that have been destroyed and broken down from all these current events are coming to a point where the world has to change to rebuild it all, to bring the pieces together, to unite. And that's what I think this nakshatra will have a strong effect on. This nakshatra, Uttara Ashada, is ruled by the sun. So this brings in essence the power, and kings and leaders have got to merge together to make things work. And they're going to have to start trying. Now, between April 6th, so Mars will be in this nakshatra of Uttara Ashada till April 6th. And then on April 6th until April 25th, Mars will go into this most powerful nakshatra of Shravana. And Shravana's symbol is an ear. And what it is called the star of listening. So the star of hearing. And this is especially a fabulous nakshatra for learning, educational purposes and learning. And Mars being exalted in here, it's going to help educational systems, schools, universities, everything get back on track. And I think there's a transition and a transformation in the way we learn, maybe more home-based learning, and this will attract more learning, more ways to teach that are fun and inspirational and exciting. That's what Mars transit through Shravana is going to bring. So it is ruled by the moon, and this is much more sensitive, this nakshatra. And I believe that people are going to have to start listening, because so many people do not know how to listen. But through listening is how we truly learn. Remember, it's the person who listens that learns, not the one that's doing all the talking. And this nakshatra brings this capability about for people to learn, to listen, to open, and be more receptive, because it is ruled by the moon. So I think while Mars transits through Shravana, things towards educational learning and opening will begin. Then towards the end of Mars transit in Capricorn, from April 25th through, well, actually May 14th, Mars will go into the nakshatra Dhanishta. But remember, Mars will only be in the sign of Capricorn till May 4th. So April 25th through May 4th, while Mars is in Capricorn, it will be in the nakshatra Dhanishta. What is Dhanishta? Dhanishta actually saying is the richest one. And it deals with what? Wealth, materialism, and the economy. And I predict, because of the transit of Mars, when Mars gets into this nakshatra, you're going to see the economy start to spring back. This is going to be relative to the stock market and jobs and probably many of the economic stimuluses and bailouts that the government's going to have to give to the United States and probably all over the world that these events are occurring. So watch how Mars, when it transits, will change the tides and change the disposition and the feelings going on in the world. And when Mars is in Dhanishta, Dhanishta is ruled by Mars. This is even when Mars is at its highest, strongest, most powerful nakshatra that it can be in, because Dhanishta is in Capricorn, exaltation sign, and when Mars is in this portion of Dhanishta, it is even in the sign that it rules. It's like it's in its own rulership, doubly potent. So the symbol for Dhanishta is actually a drum, and it deals with rhythm and timing and a beat, like the heartbeat. But this actually can make Mars stronger for good, absolute good, but also for bad. So people will be angry, people will be upset, people will be rebuilding, be practical and making things work, but there's still going to be that edge where people can take the negative side of it, which can be what? Anger, violence, hostility, war. You'll see there can even be some attacks, because this is a potent, potent place in the zodiac relative to the stars in the nakshatras that makes Mars so powerful and active. And as it's going through this sign, it's with Saturn. It has the potential to breed some major, major events during this period, again, between March 22nd and May 4th. So with that, I'd like to close. I hope you learned something about the nakshatras and the power of Mars, especially when it is in the sign of Capricorn. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like more information on me, you'd like to get my free newsletter delivered to your email address, plus if you would like a consultation, go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. Or if you would like to learn Vedic astrology, take this to the next level, I have an online university for certification. Visit my online university at University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.